Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, lax rats alike, welcome back to another episode of the Crease Dive. Today is Friday, September 9th, and we are down to 4 teams, 3 games, and 2 weekends left in the 2022 PLL season. I'm Jordy from Barstool. With me, as always, we've got Dukes in the house. Dukes, it was certainly a eventful quarterfinal weekend in Boston last week. How are we feeling heading into the semis?
Good. Really, I think you saw a little bit with the quarterfinals attendance, like how Labor Day weekend and college football starting up, like we talked about, like maybe impacting that a little bit. But I think overall is a successful weekend. Water Dogs on top. Yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy with the way everything's going.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I put pretty much my entire career on the line saying that I called 2 overtime games that I thought that all 3 games were going to come down to 1 or 2 goals. I said 2 of them are definitely going to overtime. Lo and behold, we got 3 just pure shit kickings. Just 3 straight games where like all these games shit was over before the fourth quarter even started. So I don't know, like that kind of, it was a little disappointing that there weren't any like late game theatrics. But that is just another example of like the moment you think you know what's going to go on in this league, the total exact opposite happens.
Yeah, I mean, you picked the Chaos. I went against them because, I've been with the Chrome all year. I can't just be a fraud. But the thing that we talked about with the Chaos were like who hasn't played their best game yet and who could absolutely change the tide of a game. Blaze, what do you have, an 83% save percentage? Like that's ridiculous.
He was at like 92% at some point in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and like, it was also me and you both were like yeah, like you guys should have a lot of you should have a lot of people doubting you because you guys have stunk all year. And Blaze has been, still like a goalie of the year candidate, and like the expectations for him, right? Like just in general, are like, all right, like the way that the Chaos play their defense, it's so chaotic. I know, very punny, but it relies a lot on Blaze making saves. Like the way that they want to play relies on Blaze being the one. Like I know it's like it sounds crazy, but the way that they it's not like they're like, all right, we're gonna we want Blaze to see the best shots. So like, no, Blaze, you're gonna see like anything. And you're gonna have to save it. Like it's just the way, and it works when it works.
Yeah, I mean it's always nice to have just a guy who pretty much the only guy to ever win goalie of the year in the PLL, just they're backstopping for you and an MVP. So no, I mean that was a game where again, like I don't know, it sucks because like we knew it was gonna I know that you had to ride with your Chrome. Like you had to ride with your Chrome because like that's just if you didn't, you'd be a fraud. And I'm glad that we don't have to put Dukes on fraud alert. But like even you knew this was a total possibility where it's what the Chaos do. They just sandbag the entire regular season. They come out when they actually need to get a win. And then they put up their best game of their season. Also, I think I said this, I might have said it in the blog that I wrote earlier in the week, but like there couldn't have been a better matchup for this Chaos team than the Chrome, given the fact that their best 2 players are rookies. And you look back, not only in the fact that like, okay, they're rookies. So like, this is their first like PLL playoff experience. Like not like, I don't really give a shit about that because like Logan Wisnauskas has played in bigger games than a PLL core. Yeah.
That's like, stop calling him a fucking rookie. He's 24 years old. The guy should be like a doctor by now with the amount of college education he's had. It's like, we're calling these 24-year-olds like, oh, they're not seasoned to the game. They played Placid 3 years ago against like half these guys. Like, come on, like, let's get real.
Yeah, I mean, Dr. Wiz has played in bigger games than a PLL quarterfinal game. But the point that I'm getting at here is like you look at how much lacrosse they've played this year, starting all the way back in January, leading Maryland to a national championship. Brendan Nichtern spending the past, 4 years at Army West Point, starting January at Army, great season, and then goes into the PL. So like those guys have played like a ton of lacrosse over the past bad at math 8 months.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, ton of lacrosse over the past year. Like they were gonna run out of gas at some point, and then the chaos. They've been storing up that gas since God knows when. And obviously, like you have the guys who played for the Bandits, so like that was a lot. But I don't know. It's I feel like it's a little bit different when you already have gone from playing the full NLL season into playing PLL as opposed to like your first time going all the way through college, everything with that, and then going into a pro season.
So so one thing that I was like, I want to like talk about with the Chrome is it's not like the defense played necessarily bad. At one point you're out of it, but like 11 goals, like you should be in the game with 11 goals. I mean, obviously it's on the offense, but like even with the offense, it's like you probably got the looks you wanted to get. But when you have a goalie like Blaze, when he's standing on his head like that, sometimes you just got to tip your cap and be like, yeah, no, you got the best of us today. With the rookie talk, I totally agree. Like just gassed out, but I don't really look for the excuse like, oh, like they like I really like the rookie excuse for like exactly what you said. Like these guys are old, mature. Like it's not like having a rookie quarterback go in and like, going against the fucking like the 86 Bears defense.
Right.
Like,
Yeah. No, I'm not saying you've got like a bunch of like 18-year-olds out there who
yeah,
are still like pissing
exactly.
their pants.
Exactly.
Like yeah, but it's like it's a lot of lacrosse for like
For sure.
the first time. Yeah, and I mean, like Chrome defense didn't necessarily play bad, but I think, dude, one of the guys who I'm starting to get really impressed with over the last few weeks, and I know like if anyone here is listening that's an NLL fan or a box guy, like they're gonna be like, how the fuck like weren't you impressed with this guy before? Challen Rogers.
Oh yeah.
Is dude
Yeah.
like they're like Chrome
I
defense.
Totally agree.
Chrome defense playing perfectly fine. That dude still gets to a spot like a motherfucker. Like that guy, you can play the best defense in the world on that guy and he's still gonna get like one more shoulder down, get himself to a spot and then dunk it. Like he's been a sick bastard the past couple weeks and really saw it happening in that game against Chrome.
I saw the Chaos guys at the bar in Fairfield. I think I talked about it a little, but they were talking about Challen Rogers I think they might have like been saying like he was the best player. Like I feel like the way that they were talking, but I remember like leaving the bar and being overserved and being like the one thing I got out of it was like, all right, Challen Rogers is really freaking good. Remember, write that down.
Yeah. It's just on your hand.
Yeah. CR. I think I got like a girl's number. It's like CR. I'm like CR 23. What?
Yeah, I mean, like he's been sick in the NLL for like years, but it's like really like I'll watch NLL games here and there, but I'm not like following the NLL. Like, don't fucking come after me, Canada. But like getting a chance to really see it, these past few weeks, like he's a guy who I think like the Archers defense, like you got to throw Graham Hossack on him. Like you have to throw one of those box. Yeah. Well, not only a pole, but a box pole, but a box pole. I don't know, like who else? Or I mean,
Brody Merrill.
Well, yeah, but the Archers don't have. Or like what? Like the Archers, even if you're not gonna pull them, like it has to be like Latrell Harris. Yeah. So, but yeah, so Chaos just curb stomp the Chrome. Second game.
The one thing I was gonna say too is like a debate that we had going into the playoffs was you go in with 2 and 9, and you were on the side of like being like they shouldn't get in the regular season means nothing, which again I think that we might have talked about. I might be doing the repeat rap, but we talked about like how they have guys in the Bandits in the NLL now, like they're all getting like adjusted, and you can even say like maybe they're like a little healthy because you're talking about long seasons. A box season, you got all those weekends too. So you want to talk about a long season for like the NLL guys, like those Bandits guys have been getting beaten up. So like maybe they're just getting back to full strength health wise after like a pretty enduring playoff run. So like that could be a factor as well. But yeah, I think the factor of all factors is if Blaze saves above 70%, if Blaze has a 70% save percentage or better, the Chaos are going to win. If he does that for the next 2 games, they will win the championship.
Yeah. And real quick, I don't want to do like an entire repeat on that segment of like, should a 2-8 team get into the playoffs? But like my whole thing there is like I agree that the Chaos as a 2-8 team, we're always going to be good enough to win in the playoffs. Like that was never my thing. It wasn't like why are they getting in? Like they don't like they're not gonna, they're not gonna win a playoff game. They stink. Like my thing was always that they were going to win. It's just I think like that just ends up being a bad look for the league. Like let's say the championship game, let's say that they get past the Archers. Championship game rolls around, like maybe you're sitting in the office and you're, you've got a couple people who have never watched lacrosse before, but it's the PLL championship, so they want to give it a shot. And you're like, oh yeah, this was the chaos. And they're like, oh, were they a wagon all year? And you're like, no, like actually they were 2-8. They're like, what the fuck? Like that's like a bad look for the league. If the team that's like winning a championship, if they win out in the playoffs, their final record is still 5-8. So it's just like tough to like explain to non-lacrosse fans. It's like, yeah, this team that won only 20% of their games in the regular season is now going to play for the championship, when like you can't really explain to them. It's like, yeah, but they have like all these 6 guys that were playing for the Bandits, and like they have like the best goalie who just like wasn't really doing like that much in the regular. Like you have to go into a whole spiel, or else people are like, the fuck's going on with this league?
No, we don't have to get into a spiel. Guys, I'm like Jordan Belfort right now. Like when he's like, here's the script. During the championship game, when it's Chaos Water Dogs, here's what you're gonna tell your friends. I'm like 2-8. Like what's this fucking league? Like is this like this Mickey Mouse league? This league makes no sense. What you say is, look, this is a really competitive league. Week in, week out, you really don't know. It's one or 2 goal difference between these games. So like the difference between the top and the bottom is not that much. The margin of error is right there. That's it. Don't give the spiel. Don't even go into the NLL. The NLL is gonna confuse the fuck out of you. They're gonna wait. I just watched the documentary. I thought the MLL and the PLL merged. What's this NLL? It's like we're not going there. One thing, like
Dukes, that's a really good point. By the way, I think that was
just bring up like,
and plus when you hit them with a phrase, the margin of error, like all of a sudden, like
it's a buzzword.
Yeah, it's real buzzy, and all of a sudden people are like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. So that's a great one.
One, just talking about the NLL really quick that I saw on Twitter is, which I love to see, is that supposedly Paul Rabel is going to have talks with the NLL to like work with the league, which is great. I don't really know, like, if we're just like, I want to get me in a room with the commissioners. I want to start talking to them about some scheduling. I want the NLL starting October 1st. I want these guys having no break. I want that league done in March. Done. And then we start May 1st. I
mean, if everything's under ESPN, I think that there's probably a way to work that out. Like, I think in like the past, like it'd be tough to like kind of schedule it, but I don't know. You've got a new commissioner in the NLL. You've got everything under ESPN. We can make something happen with that probably.
What my thing with, before we get into the second game, my thing with the May 1st start too, that I like, because we're talking about like Labor Day and like the scheduling conflicts with the NFL season, college football, all that shit. I think that starting May 1st, that's when lacrosse starts really buzzing. That's when you have like all the eyes in college, everything. So you've got to like somehow not take over the college Saturday. Say if you could do like Friday games, Monday games, or just something along those lines where like, like the lacrosse is buzzing. Like May and June are a good time for lacrosse.
Yeah, the only thing is that is just like a lot more overlap with like Stanley Cup and NBA playoffs.
Yeah, but like, lacrosse on top, fastest growing sport in 2 feet.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Yeah, all right. Spin zone. Yeah, all right. We gotta think about. I gotta sit down with like whoever the skipper is at ESPN.
Yeah, we'll workshop that one. We'll figure something out. We'll
Monday night or a Sunday night Labor Day weekend championship game would be so fire.
Yeah, I agree. Like getting it done before the start of the NFL season is pretty crucial.
I mean, even like if the 2 lacrosse holidays were Memorial Day and Labor Day, that would be sick.
Yeah, just sport of the summer. Okay, so yeah, speaking of buzzwords, we'll put a pin in that one. We'll circle back. We'll get around to it. Maybe we'll synergize. We'll streamline, and that'll streamline us right into. Again, we don't have to talk too much because we're like almost a full week past this right now. But the Archers just dismantling the Redwoods. Really, really good to see as someone who wants this Archers team to get over the hump. I mean, the offense was snapping it around. Connor Fields got himself going. When he's, I feel like Connor Fields, I wouldn't call him the straw that stirs the drink, but like he's a guy where like if you have him going and he's balling out, you know that the rest of the group is going to follow. Like you can have a couple like Marcus games where he takes over, but like no one else is really there. Maybe Grant games, but like I don't know. I just feel like Connor Fields games are always like, all right, now the entire Archers offense is buzzing. So that's got to feel great for them to put up a big game against the Redwoods, and now they move on to play against the Chaos, the same team that ended their season each of the past two years.
Yeah, that game was, I thought, a pretty big snooze fest. What did you think?
Yes and no. I just thought I don't know, like these last two games, the final score does seem to be a little like they're both 5-goal wins, but like neither of them really felt even that tight. I don't know. I thought that Redwoods kind of are who just they seem to be this whole season, where it's like the potential was there for them to have a couple real breakout games, and then they just couldn't get everybody going on the same page. And then you look on the other side, and Archers got it done. So
they just and honestly, with the Redwoods, I loved them the first year in the league. They're like Notre Dame guy, go ND, go Irish, but after they lost Landis, that defense just looks kind of lost. Like I know everyone like it just looks. It's not. I mean, obviously you're losing like arguably the best defender in the league, but after that first year, I feel like they just lost. They lost like something. I don't know if it was a locker room presence, maybe a gel guy. I don't really know. I don't have the answer, but it's just a different makeup. Like disappointing. Just the past couple of years. I'm just shocked that they never got one, I guess.
And you can't really be feeling or looking a little bit lost out there on defense when you look at what this Archers offense is able to do, especially on like settled possessions.
Yeah,
like when they're not going in, like when they're settling down, like they're snapping it around so hard. We saw a few of like the same I don't know if they were both Matt Moore, like one of them might have been Matt Moore, the other one might have been Connor Fields, but like just a quick little almost like a little hezzy fake shot, dip down to, I think it was Marcus who finished off both of them. But just like the moment that you have to slide to anybody, it's one pass, backdoor, back of the net. So you definitely need the defense to be head on a swivel all over the place against this Archers offense when they're really clicking. So that should be interesting, because I don't think either of us are like sold on this Chaos defense, especially settled 6-on-6.
Yeah, no, for sure. And also, one thing that I just want to make sure I have the stats right. Sorry. One thing that I noticed, in the first quarter when the Archers grabbed a 7-3 lead, TD got killed on at the faceoff X. I think he lost like the first like 4 or 6, I want to say, but then he absolutely dominated. So you got to see like if that you take back that. I mean, obviously it's a big first quarter, but you take back that first quarter for the Woods, like kind of looking at a different game probably.
Yeah,
or at least like evening out that battle a little bit, but yeah, seems to be a difference.
Want to talk about a guy who killed it on faceoffs last weekend? How about Jake Withers?
Yeah,
going 17 for 33 against Trevor Baptiste as the as the Water Dogs go on their run to just completely dismantle the Atlas. It was a sad day. It was a bad day for the Atlas. I thought that this team had championship hopes. I thought that they were right there on the cusp at the beginning of the season. I thought, this was going to be a team of destiny, the team to beat in the league besides the Whipsnakes. And they just got pounded by the Dogs. So, I mean, Jake Withers winning a bunch of, although a lot of that has to do with Zach Currier just being an absolute maniac on the wings. It is a 3-man unit, so I'm not taking anything away.
That's what I'm saying about the Water Dogs. Like when we talk about the best face-off guys, I never bring up Withers because it's a pure just like you're at like the face-off academy and you're going one-on-ones. Like, I'm not going to say he's going to be like the top guy there, but the way that the Canadians work the lines with him, Reese, and Courier, it's like they can even up the battle. Like, I'm shocked that he won the battle, but I'm not shocked that he like kept it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't have been shocked if it was like 44% for him.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah. No, yeah, it's your podcast.
Well, it's our podcast, but just because you just briefly mentioned him, I think Rylan Reese might be the most dangerous man in the game right now.
In what sense? Just as a player, or just like, does he like just a weapon?
Just a weapon.
Yeah, like, no, I'm a big fan of him.
Rylan Reese in transition.
Yeah, totally.
Is just like, you can't really stop it. Like, he's just, 2 goals this past week. He's had like a few nasty goals in his career. You get those box guys that play pole and field, and they're just so good with their stick. Go ahead.
You know who I was just looking, you know who when we're talking about LSMs, opposite side of the field, I think Craig Chick is one of the most underrated LSMs in the league. Like, nobody talks about him. The fact that he wasn't up for the award this year, for LSM of the year, was crazy to me. Like, Jared Connors, good player, haven't been overly impressed with his PLL career so far. Craig Chick was 1,000 times better than him this year. I might have it wrong from a player's perspective, where players like, no, Jared Connors is just like a lengthy guy that annoys you up in your shit. But Craig Chick has had an LSM. I just want to shout him out. LSM of the year finalist, no doubt in my mind. He got screwed. Screwed the
yeah
pooch.
I don't know what his stats are like, but just he's a takeaway nightmare.
Don't even go to the stats, because when you do the matchup game, I think Dan did the matchup game, and I got enraged on Twitter when you like do Jared Connors to Craig Chicks, and it's like a
little player A, player B type of situation.
Yeah, it was one of those or something. And like, because I remember I had this like random Twitter account. It might be Craig Chick or his dad would tweet at me. You probably got tagged in this. Did you ever see this where it was like Craig Chick had a turnover, like a cause turnover here. He had like 5 in the game, right? He got like PLL put him down for like 5. And he had like 3 more that the PLL just didn't count on their website for some reason. And he tweeted at me like 5 times. He was like, "Why didn't this count as a cause turnover?" Like,
that's definitely like an Odell's dad, like making the video about Baker.
It's like, oh, who's this? It's like, not C Chick 21.
Totally not Craig Chick's dad. 5'4", 7'2", 8'9", 6'3". No, I like that call though. That's good. I think we're getting a lot of really good shout outs to some guys that deserve the praise. You got one more? You got your hand up.
Yeah. I got one. Ryan Conrad, that's the fucking player that we could be. What a fucking game from him. That was nice to see. I think he's a great 2-way player. I love him in the Water Dog system. The offense just, sometimes he gets carried away with his game, tries to do too much, but talk about a showing from the kid. Really, really like seeing him ball out. Nice guy. Better player. Or good player, better guy. Yeah,
I've never met him, so I'd imagine that you're true on that one. I'd imagine that he's a fantastic guy.
After he won the quick story, after he won the championship at UVA, he went to Gillette. I was a no-name blogger, and I was trying to get like interviews, couldn't really do it. And I asked him, I was like, "Hey, could you walk with me and like let me ask you some questions?" Walked with him through the stadium to the car. Let me say, and then we say goodbye. I don't even know if he like remembers that, but it was like one of those things where I was like, that guy's always good in my book.
Was he still wearing black cleats the whole time?
He might have been. I remember we mostly were just talking. I don't think I asked him a question. I think we were just talking about like how much shit Yale talks. And like, God, I remember, like it was kind of cool, but yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so Water Dogs, they end up winning that game 19-14. Again, just one of those ones where I like the Atlas, pretty sure they had like 7 goals in the fourth quarter once once the desperation really start to set in. So 19-14 already looks like a bit of a blowout, especially in this league, and it was definitely worse than the score appears. So that brings us into the semifinal weekend. We've got 2 games on the slate, both on Sunday. So, the opening Sunday of the NFL, we've already talked about this. It's tough scheduling, but the first game gets going. I thought
the first game gets going at 1 p.m. Eastern time on ABC or ESPN Plus. You have the number 1 Whip Snakes against the number 5 Water Dogs. Do you see that?
I do see that. For some reason, I thought that there was a game at 11. Maybe
Oh,
I was just looking at September 11th. The game at 11 would have been fantastic.
it would have been great. Like, this is what I'm talking about.
I
You know what
I
I'd love to
thought
do? You know what I'd love to do is I think that this. I don't even think he's too big time for us going on part of my take and everything. But imagine we had like Paul Rabel on, and we had him answer all the questions that we have about scheduling and like why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? And then like he can explain it to us because again, I know there's smarter people out there that like know the answers to these questions. I want answers. I have so many questions. Like why couldn't
I
you start at 11-1? 11 and
I
1.
I really thought that the ABC game was at 11. It must have just been because I was like quickly looking at like September 11th for the
Oh, for sure.
schedule and then saw
For
the
sure.
11 there. All right. Well, so both games get started right as opening NFL kickoffs get underway. So 1 p.m. on ABC, though. It's a nationally televised game. It's on, you talk to your parents. They tell you about the days when
Cable.
they only had 3 channels and it was 3, 6, and 10, and you had to get the little bunny ears. Well, guess what, motherfuckers? They could have watched this shit because it's on ABC. We've got the number 1 Whip Snakes fresh off of their bye week, taking on the Water Dogs. This is a rematch of last year's semifinal matchup, where it was the other way around with the Water Dogs coming off of their bye, taking on the Whip Snakes. Rest versus rust. Let's just real quick before we get into this actual matchup. Do you think that the Whip Snakes have a little
No.
something to be worried about here with a little bit of rust that could potentially be building up, especially given how lubed up the Water Dogs should be heading into this weekend?
Fuck that. Like if we're gonna talk about any other team really, and we're talking about rust versus rust, I might say like the rust factor. But with the Whip Snakes, you throw all that bullshit out the window. Like maybe for the first quarter, like Rambo forgets that he's like in a playoff game. He's like, wait, the playoffs started? Like, wait, they had the quarterfinals.
He might be streaming the Eagles.
Yeah, like he wants to get out of there. So I don't really think that. I think the only person more mad than like lacrosse and football fans that they have to play on Sunday is probably Rambo.
Wait, so actually that's a good. All right, so lock of the week. Whips and Water Dogs will not go to overtime. Matt Rambo will not allow it because he needs to get out of there and he needs to get to a bar to finish watching the 4th quarter of that Eagles game.
We also got to factor this in is if you're looking at it from like a Canadian American perspective, like a lot more Canadians on the Water Dogs. That means a lot less NFL fans.
Well, yeah, but like what time did the the Saskatchewan Roughriders play?
No CFL season.
Couple big Grey Cup matchups on the line here. All right. Well, all right. That's fair. I think if there's one team that has proven themselves to be consistently lubed up, it would be
unrustable.
Yeah,
like the unrustables.
Wow, that's good. That could be a shirt. Also,
that could be
also, I feel like Uncrustables are the unofficial sandwich of summer lacrosse everywhere. Get a cup, you got that one dad brings around the cooler, the slightly chilled Uncrustable just between games like 3 and 4, just hammer home like 5 of them, go to warm-ups for your next game and just feel sick as a dog.
I just thought we should do, remember the draft that we did? Like the gear draft that we did? I think in the off season, we owe it to the fans, a little warm-up episode. We should do best tent, like the tents that are set up at some of the lacrosse
best tents set up, best tailgate.
Best tail. Yeah. We'll work something out. My brain was just storming.
All right. Well, let's get back to this game. So heading over to the Barstool Sportsbook, the 1 p.m. Game, Whip Snakes and Water Dogs on ABC. The Whip Snakes as the 1 seed, obviously favored on the spread, -1.5. The value there is -115. Water Dogs at +1.5. Value there is only -110. On the money line, we've got Whip Snakes -180, Water Dogs +140. Over under in this game, 24.5. So, you look at the 2 games that these guys played against each other so far this season, they split it. They went 1-1. So Water Dogs, the only team to hand the Whip Snakes an L at some point this season. They played against against each other in week 2. Whip Snakes won that one 12-11, and Water Dogs won in week 5, 11-10. So they've been 1-goal games. They've been hitting the under. And you know, if anything, if we've learned anything about the Whip Snakes so far this season, it's that they're gonna win and they're not gonna cover.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. I actually, I have a mortal lock.
All right, let me kind of
It's
adjust
not-
myself. Let me get comfortable here. Let me.
This is I rarely use the like. I'm saying like this is probably, which is I think a smart person once said you don't get rich betting against Alabama and Nick Saban. You don't get rich betting against the Whips. Maybe you do actually with the spread. You probably do. Like now that I'm thinking about it out loud.
Yeah.
But I'm saying like when you're looking at it from like a win-loss perspective, like on the money line, you probably don't get too rich like betting against the Whips. Water Dogs plus 1.5, Water Dogs money line is my lock of all locks, especially when you look at how close the scores have been in these games and how substantial the difference in faceoffs have been. What did the Water Dogs do last week against the best faceoff guy in the league? Beat him with not just one man, the unit. So I think they could be able to slow down Nardello if they can get this to, you know, closer to the 40-50 range rather than, you know, I think they were at like 30 in the last game that they won. And then in the first matchup, they lost by 1, winning legitimately, I think 1 faceoff or 2 faceoffs. So I think that with the way the faceoff guys are going, I think just the matchup itself, I really like in the 6-on-6 settled situations for the Water Dogs. So yeah, I'm going Dogs on top of this one. They're going to get to their first championship game, and PFT and Big Cat have got to be the biggest Whip Snakes fans in the world this weekend, because there's no chance they want to waste a TV on September 18th during an NFL Sunday on the PLL championship game. But when they do, when they have to watch that game, I will be there and I'll be enjoying it. I'll be their like little lacrosse correspondent.
That's not the way that I thought that one was going. I thought that you were going to thread the needle there. I thought we were going Water Dogs plus 1.5, Whip Snakes money line.
Oh, that would have been crazy.
And I think that that's kind of where I have to go with this one. Because again, you don't get rich betting against Saban. You don't get rich betting against Whip Snakes money line. You make plenty of dough betting against them on the spread.
Mm-hmm.
You probably have bought yourself a house at this point.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think when it comes down to it, like until the Whips prove to me that they're not going to be playing for a championship every year, I'm going to have to just keep betting on them to get there. I think, you know, they've earned that so far. I think, you know, it'd be disrespectful of me to not have them in the championship. I do think like on my bracket, I don't have them, but I don't really give a shit about my bracket.
Yeah, but this is exactly why I fucking hate brackets, because it's, again, at the end of the day, it's a matchup thing. It's like, it's even when you're filling out like the NCAA tournament bracket, you're like, oh, well, yeah, I like this matchup for this team, but like I don't like the matchup here. I
do think that this is the toughest matchup for the Whip Snakes. I mean,
Yep.
Obviously, like the Water Dogs, they have a little bit of confidence building in them because of the fact that they've already beaten the Whip Snakes so far this season. They also have a lot of confidence building in them right now because of the way that they played last week against the Atlas. So like they've already taken down one of the better teams in the league in like pretty dominating fashion. They've already beat the Whip Snakes. Like they're going to be feeling so good about themselves heading into this game. Also, they had some pretty good substitution box work in that game. I saw Withers get Baptiste by like a good 10 yards to the midline. Pretty sure that was one of the Ryan Conrad goals that ended up getting scored right after that one. Yeah, the 2 bombs. So Coach Copeland obviously watching my tape when I'm coaching, getting that sub game.
Well, you learn from
up
the
to
best.
par. You learn from the best.
Yeah.
But so like the Water Dogs have everything going for them, and now they're catching the Whips after the Whips have had a couple weeks off. So again, I know they're unrustable, but like you still got to get that engine turning at some point. And I think if the Water Dogs can really get it going hot right off the bat, they'll put themselves in a good position to kind of just carry that game from start to finish. If they don't, like the longer you let the whip snakes get comfortable, the longer you let the whip snakes get their legs back, then you're fucked. So again, I'm not crazy about anything that I'm picking this week, just because like you can flip a coin to any of these games, and like they could either both be really close games where either team could win. They could both be blowouts where either team could win. But I'm gonna go Water Dogs keeping it tight plus 1.5. But I mean, the Whip Snakes have played in all 3 championship games so far. So like, I just like have to, out of just respect to them, say Whip Snakes advance.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, from the get-go, I think whoever wins this game wins the championship. I'll stick to that.
I like that call. So then I guess playing to eventually come in second place will be the 3:30 game. This is on ESPN Plus. We've got the Archers taking on the Chaos. Again, this is a rematch of last year's quarterfinals where the Chaos won 13-10 to end the Archer season. This is a rematch of the semifinals from the bubble where the Chaos won 13-9 to end the Archer season. So Archers have lost the last 2 playoff games against the Chaos, but they have won the past 2 against them in the regular season. Archers are 2-0 against the Chaos this year, spanked them 17-12 in week 2. And then in week 10, they won 11-8. So heading over to the Barstool Sportsbook, we've got Archers favored on the spread, -1.5, valued there, -121. Chaos at +1.5 on the spread at -106. On the money line, we're looking Archers -186, Chaos +145. Over under on this one, 23.5. So, Vegas expecting this to be the lower scoring game. Tell you what, I know that this is another one where it's like you don't get rich betting against Saban, and like you don't get rich betting the over in games that Blaze Jordan plays. I actually do love the over in this game.
Really?
Yes.
What's it at?
So 23.5. So this
Okay.
is the low game of the 2.
Okay.
Again, I'm looking at the way that the Archers got themselves going last week against the Redwoods. I think the fact that it was a Connor Fields game and not a Tom Schreiber game bodes really well right now for the Archers, because I think that Tom still has that game coming this coming weekend. He's had a couple huge games against the Chaos so far. So if he gets himself going, the rest of the offense can also follow. I already mentioned before, like I love the way that Challen Rogers has been playing over the past couple weeks. That Dane and Josh are going to get their points for the Chaos. Like I'm looking at like a 14-13 game here.
I'm going under on this. I'm going on because even when the Chaos offense seemed to be clicking last week, it didn't seem to be really pour it on. Again, I think I expect a huge game from Blaze, but also in the same respect, I think Gittleman is going to have a huge game. I just look at this from like the last dance perspective that we've had for the Archers all season long. Like I think that he knows his time's running out, so I expect a big game from him. I think a lot of saves are going to be across the board. On top of that, I'm taking the Chaos to win this game. Actually, again, we've said it every fucking year, Jordy. Every single fucking year with the Archers. What's going to bite them in the ass in the playoffs? Face-offs. I thought it could kind of be settled this year. I think Ignacio has a great future. Don't really think he's going to make the difference in this game. So I'm going Chaos, and I think they're going to make their 3rd straight championship appearance.
All right. Yeah, I mean, again, just another one where this is more of a flip of the coin to me. Yeah, I think that we could see a strong performance out of Gettleman, but I'm just like looking at all the different looks that he's going to get thrown his way. So you're going to get a couple backdoors that are, they're just going to drop. There are a couple guys who can bring it down and trade. Like you're going to get a couple Costabile looks from 2 range. So like you have to be ready for that. I just don't know if he's going to have, I think that this is a game where like Mac O'Keefe is probably going to feast. So I could see, good 3 goals out of Mac. So
Jack Rowlett homecoming too, somewhat, right? DC.
I guess, yeah. I mean, he won't have to travel, so he'll be feeling pretty good.
So Grant Ament is having 0 points. Is my point. I mean, that's a good matchup. That's just one if you're a lacrosse fan to like just watch and just enjoy. And Rob, that's one of the best defenders. I mean, you know, at what you're talking about Mac O'Keefe, at what point are we calling him the best time and room shooter? Like the Ryan Brown talk has got to stop, and the Mac O'Keefe talk needs to be more of a thing. Like he's gonna, what Mac's gonna do, and you still can't stop it.
Yeah, like the only thing that's like so sick about Ryan Brown is it's like you just never know like which hand he can.
Yeah.
So like he can do it both ways. But yeah, I mean, Max stroke, it's like you've seen it 1,000 times. You kind of know exactly where that ball is going to go, and guys still just can't get to it. Like Jack Kelly tried his goddamn hardest, or no, not Jack Kelly.
Well, Jack Kelly, let me tell you what, Jack Kelly every single game tried his best.
Yeah, he's hardest worker in the league. No, Sean Scanone tried his hardest to track that down last week. Almost had it, and still it's like, no, Max bringing that one right past you. So yeah, I don't know. I'd say O'Keefe and Schreiber are my two my two to watch out there for. Still, can we still consider this a Connor Fields revenge game, or is too much time passed at this point?
That's too much time. Remember at one point he was runner up in MVP and people thought that he got like fucked. He was going to be the first PLL MVP.
Yeah, I mean, he was sick.
It's just insane. That downfall, like not downfall. He's a really good player, but like, remember
he had a bad bubble.
He got benched on the Chaos in the playoffs. Where like everyone's like, "What are you doing?" And then one of the runners like, "Oh shit."
Yeah, he had a bad bubble. But yeah, I think if you can find it, I like Tom Schreiber points, maybe Mac O'Keefe goals. I guess I do have to make a pick on this one, so I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm not getting burned by these fuckers again.
Okay, dude, I was gonna say if you're about to fucking take the Archers,
I'm not getting burned by these motherfuckers again. Listen, I've never once doubted the Chaos's ability to win playoff lacrosse games. Not once.
You're mad at them. You're a toxic relationship.
I'm in a very toxic relationship right now with the Chaos, and I do agree. Like I stand by my claim that they fucking suck at regular season lacrosse. But like I maybe it's on purpose. So like maybe they're really good at sucking. Like maybe it's they run their game plan to a T. But I've never once doubted their ability to win playoff lacrosse games, and I'm not going to start now. So I've got, I mean, obviously you got to go Chaos money line there. Get the juice.
I'm giving you an opportunity right now. I'll put out one clip out of context to our socials, and you can give one team right now bulletin board material. You can either give the Archers or the Chaos. Floor is yours if you want to take it. A hot take, something just and out of context, I'll just put like everyone that's listening to the pod right now will be in on the joke, but we'll put it out there and we'll just see how riled up we can get, like the Chaos or the Archers.
All right. Yeah, I mean, dude, listen, like if you're the Chaos right now, like you have to be. No, I don't. I'm gonna edit this part out. I don't have anything to say right now.
Yeah. I was thinking.
Put me on the spot right there. I don't have anything.
I know. I was trying to think of something with like the 2.8% or like the Archers just like throwing it up out of context and then like Ian.
I know.
Just being like fuck you, Jordy. Like I told you this is gonna happen. Would have been funny. But yeah,
here. I'll get one. So I'll splice this in at the end.
Okay.
If you're able to edit this out for the video.
No, this is all on the YouTube. This is not getting an ad for that. I think this is like what makes YouTube.
I guess so. You get the whole behind the scenes. Well, for the audio. Listen, right now, the Chaos, you've got to be thinking to yourselves, Ian McKay has tweeted out more Hezbollah videos on Twitter this year than they've won games. So,
what?
I mean, you guys are spending way too much time with Hezbollah, not enough time focusing on lacrosse. So I don't know how I can trust this team heading into the semifinals.
So you were doubting them again?
Always have been.
Sheesh, you never learned. And you're taking the Archers again? Wow.
Archers by 5.
Oh my God. Crazy. All right. So now that's the end of the bit. I need to see if Ian McKay falls for that. I want to see, like,
Well, he is, man.
I'm gonna put that out like Sunday morning, like schedule a tweet, like being like bulletin board, tag like him, Towers.
All right. Well, maybe just for posterity purposes, now that we have that clipped out, here's another clip of me saying that everything that I just said was purely for content. It was a bit.
That's getting clipped out.
Yeah.
That'll edit out.
Please, AT, do not fucking murder me when you see me in Philly.
You will. You should.
All right, but my real pick there, gotta go Chaos money line.
No, Jordy. I'm very happy. Seriously, like all bits aside, because we're a bunch of bit guys doing bits over here. But I'm happy that you came to your senses. If I saw you get stung by the Archers again and you doubted the Chaos again, I was like, dude, you're softly rooting for the Archers. Like if the Chaos lose, it's not like, oh man, you'll be a little happy for the Archers, but you won't take your credibility and downfall with the Archers if they lose. Like if you pick the Archers again, I was gonna like send you like to go talk to someone or something. Like you're gonna get hurt. This is like a toxic girlfriend for you. Is the Archers.
I mean, I'm just like looking at matchups for next weekend. So, you know, if the Whip Snakes are there, you've got the Philly, you've got Rambo, and then I'm trying to think, okay, could you do Grant and Ment with Philly? But also then you've got, you know, a couple private school guys, whatever. Tony Resch, he's a Philly guy on the. I mean, Chris Bates spent a lot of time in Philly, so the Archers would have that. Chaos. I mean, the Blaze. I think that the Blaze versus Rambo matchup will really play well.
Always
in Philly. I'm just trying to think about I'm a storyline guy at the end of the day. I strictly root for the storylines, don't root for any teams. So storylines, there are plenty to be had. However, you cut this one up.
Lacrosse.
What a game. What a sport. Yeah. And, you know, we only have a couple more of these games left before it all goes away from us until the next college season, because are they doing the sixes tournament? Yeah. Okay. So it all goes away until like December, January, or whenever that sixes tournament goes. But either way, we've got 3 games left on the season. 2 of them this weekend, 1 on ABC at 1:00 on Sunday, 1 on ESPN Plus at 3:30 on Sunday. I know that it's NFL week 1. I know that there's a ton of football to be watched. What I need from everybody right now, for the love of God, find a phone, find a tablet, find a computer, find a TV screen, like whatever you can, get the games on. Like it doesn't need to be, you can be in a room full of 8 TVs. It doesn't need to be on those. Like just stream it on your phone. Let's try to get some numbers for these broadcasts. I'm sick and tired of seeing Dan Arestia tweet out these numbers that I don't really understand, but it looks like knife throwing. I'm not even close to getting there. I just see these percents and I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? And they're usually like 0.02. And I'm like, is that good? And because then like other things are like 0.6.
It's not fair because we're also looking at like NFL things. And I'm like, all right, well, like this is like the biggest marketing thing.
But like, what does NFL get? Like, are they still like a 0.9? Or are they like a 1? Or like, I don't even.
I think they get like I think 1 something is sick.
I don't know what the numbers mean, and I'm sick of that. But what I'm really sick of is seeing like the World Knife Throwing Championship, like have terrible numbers, but still better than lacrosse. So you're listening right now. It is your job. And I swear to God, if you're a lacrosse fan and I see you and you're not streaming the game, I'm gonna embarrass you.
Okay, all right? I thought you were gonna say kill, and I'll say that. If I see you and you're not watching, I kill you.
I know I don't have the ability to kill, but I will embarrass you. So again, watch football all you want. Get your game going, get Red Zone going, but you gotta leave some sort of device. It's 2022. Everyone has like 5 devices in their pockets. Throw the game on something. It could be an iPod Nano for all I care, as long as it's streaming.
Yeah, with you.
Cool. And also, all you motherfuckers listening, same thing applies. If you don't subscribe to our YouTube, I'm gonna embarrass you. If you're not following us on social at the Crease Dive, both on Twitter and Instagram, I'm coming after you as well. So basically, this is a do it or else situation. So subscribe to the YouTube, follow us on Twitter and Instagram. And in the meantime, we'll be keeping it low to high until the day we die. Love you all. We out.